CM Punk won the trial.
Wait, really? Is this...
They won.
Is this like...
No, they won. They don't have to pay anything.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. CM Punk and Colt Cabana defeat WWE Doctor in court.
That whole thing is just billionaires who are able, even if they have no case. And this Chris Amon, this trainer, clearly he was being funded by the WWE as a revenge tactic against CM Punk.
Yeah,
So even though CM Punk won this trial, and Colt Cabana won this trial, they had to spend possibly six figures on attorney fees.
Yeah, it was supposed to go to trial like 6 months ago. It's been in the works since CM Punk did that podcast, which was, I think, in 2015.
Yeah, this has been years in the making. So the day that a suit is filed against CM Punk, which was done on his wedding day, of course, the second that he gets that suit filed, he has to find representation to support him in this lawsuit. So he's been paying attorneys for years over this thing. So he is out, I would say, at least $100,000. And Colt Cabana is not a wealthy guy.
Yeah, he doesn't even wrestle anymore.
No, he never had a main event run on top of WWE. He never had a mid-card run in WWE.
He never even had a main event run on Ring of Honor.
No, he was never that guy. He but you can bully people and you can force them into litigation, and it doesn't matter if you win or not. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. If you've got the resources, Jacob, this is why we got to smash capitalism, folks. This ain't how legal systems are supposed to work. Because clearly, Colt Cabana and CM Punk, they didn't cause this guy any emotional distress. They didn't cost this guy his job. They didn't cost this guy his reputation.
Yeah, because no one cares. No one cares about a WWE doctor's reputation.
The whole thing from day one was clearly a bully smear tactic, and I'm glad that those guys have this past them. I'm glad that this is over. There was a similar thing in the comedy world recently, where there was a comic, there was this guy who wrote on the internet during the early days of the internet. His name was Maddox. And he was one of the first, I've got attitude, I'm going to kick your ass blogger guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, he was doing a podcast with a comedian. They had a falling out, and then the comedian called him a cuck. So for Maddox, being called a cuck is a huge trigger thing.
That's the N-word.
That's the N-word. So he sued him.
For calling him a cuck? How? Yeah. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, Google this thing. Yeah, Maddox, M-A-D-D-O-X. Maddox sues. So, I mean, the guy that he sued, he got an attorney. They had to go to court over this. And he spent over $20,000 defending himself because someone sued him because he called him a cuck.
New York court to determine if Maddox is legally a cuck. New York court.
They took this to the legal system.
Wow, man, there's a lot of shit about this guy. I'm just letting this guy have it.
And because New York is more of a corporate state, he chose to sue him in New York where the comic lived versus California where Maddox lived, because California is more and more liberal. And in New York, it's easier to twist the knife. It's harder to get, even if something's ridiculous, it's harder to get things thrown out before you have to go through with the court process. So it's a real fucked up system we've got, but it
Wait,
is
when
the
did
one
this
that
start?
we've got.
There was an update as recent as February. You said it's been going on for a long time.
The Maddox thing?
Yeah.
That recently, they went to court over it, and a lot of it was thrown out, but some of it wasn't. So, they still have to go back to court over this for more. So this is still a developing situation. They're not I don't think he's completely 100% out of the woods yet on this cuck business.
The word cuck's kind of lost its luster. Like, it's not a fun word to say anymore. Like, it was never, like, that funny, like, when it resurfaced, like, because it became popular again. But
I can't get enough of it.
Boring.
I love it.
You didn't even put up the last episode.
I did not. I'm gonna put that one up and this one up today. I promise. They will be available live on the internet. The Chris Benoit Weekly Podcast.
All right, I think after in the next couple episodes, I think we're growing progressively. I think we have interesting banter. I think we should start putting it on some form of podcast website and maybe say on Facebook, hey, we're doing this dumb wrestling podcast. Because we know a lot of comedians who would be like, oh, wrestling, we love that. We're boring.
I want to try to get the show. I want to try to get like something that I'm not embarrassed by first.
Okay, that's
like stand-up. Because with stand-up, I made the mistake of day one. Everybody, I'm doing stand-up comedy. This is the thing. You gotta come out. So everybody had their Dave stand-up night when I was aggressively horrible at stand-up comedy.
Yeah, and now none of our friends want to come now that we're decent.
And now that I'm kind of in the lower middle of regional comedy, I've ascended to those heights. People have already had their Dave comedy night, and it was sad. Nobody wants to hear this again.
They don't want to hear, so I'm a fat guy, I'm dating a fat girl, and we have fat sex.
I didn't have classic bits like fat fuck sex yet. I hadn't developed into the performer that I am. I hadn't honed my racism. I hadn't, there were all these elements of the game, of the regional stand-up comedy game, that I was missing, that I just didn't have at the time. I didn't have the tools in my toolbox.
But now that you do, no one cares.
I didn't have the fire in my loins.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I feel you. Like, so I have friends who came to see me. Let's see. When I first started, my friends would come all the time, and then my friends kind of stopped coming last summer. And the last time they saw me was when Father Time headlined at Grumpy Dave's.
Oh, hell yes.
So they were like, we're never coming to a comedy show ever again. So, and I told some bad jokes that night. So they teased me about those jokes that I told, but I'm like, guys, I'm a little bit better now. And they're like, yeah, whatever.
It's improved a little bit. You do something 4 nights a week.
You'd think we'd get better,
eventually.
Yeah. But there are people that don't.
They never do. So, yeah, that theory does get disproven.
Yeah, the people that, they do it 4 nights a week, but they never get any better. Like, we have I remember there was a month where I saw the paper plate guy, like, every other day. And there was little to no improvement.
There are people in New York and L.A. who go up 11 times a week and never have had one competent set. It's
I wish I was that
delusional. We're in.
I think that would be fun. If I just thought I was the shit, and I just did open mic 9 times, 12 times a week, and I just thought I was killing it every time, I think that form of delusion sounds fun.
Dabbing.
Yeah, Jane. Oh my God, I saw that Facebook post.
The war with Heather J.
It was amazing. And they all thought she was trolling. They were all like, it's some stupid troll account. She doesn't know how to speak English on purpose. And then some people were like, no, she's just fucking crazy. That's her thing.
This is just her humanity.
I looked up some of her sketches, and they're really interesting because she writes and directs them and stars in them. So all the other characters in the sketches talk like she does. Mm-hmm. So the whole thing just doesn't make any sense. And all these quote-unquote jokes that are in the sketch are just insanity. It's actually pretty great if you know who the person is. To an outsider,
comic Jane Dabb, folks. She's a fixture. She's a fixture. And God bless her, a fixture on the Michigan, Ohio comedy scene.
Yeah, I don't even feel weird talking about her because everyone understands.
They get it.
Yeah, we have her business card. If we'd love to. If she's listening to this, we'd love to have you on the show.
She's booking shows. She's got Joe Morgan coming in. So.
Oh man, I thought that didn't already happen.
No, that has not happened yet. I think that's some point late June.
I gotta hear about it. I hope Joe goes to that and comes home to the show and goes, you know what? Maybe I should be meaner to people. You know,
maybe I should stop listening to the craziest people who have ever lived.
Like, I bet if Brian the comedian cornered him, he would go on tour with him.
Yes. He would
That'd
give
be
him $500.
That'd be a wild tour.
I got the show at the Beer Stube.
Fuck yeah!
Official. We're doing a show to try it out July 2nd, and then if that goes well, we're just gonna keep rolling.
Oh, dude, that's so cool! I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. So far I've got Ryan Chernick on the bill. It's a real superstar, celebrity.
He's funny and cute. How can you?
So funny, so cute. I'm trying to get Pat Sievert down.
Oh God.
We are currently negotiating.
Pat Sievert's got a big contract.
Pat Sievert's got demands. You see the rider that his agent provided me. Like, woof.
Like, because if you get Pat Sievert on the show, it's going to be a great show.
And Pat Sievert's rider, he gets a medium double pepperoni from Domino's, right? With all of the pepperonis ripped off. Now you might ask yourself, Dave, well, isn't that just a cheese pizza? No. Because you can still see the circles. Wants to know that the work was done. So if he gets that pizza, he sees those circles, he knows that the lights are going to work, he knows that the mic's not going to cut out, he knows we're going to have a professional operation.
He's going to bring his A game. You give that kind of pizza to Pat, he's going to give you an A+ show.
I hope we can get Pat. That's a goal of mine. He's the number one choice for the first show headliner.
Yeah.
If I can't get him, I guess I move down the line. But yeah, he's the first choice.
Yeah, Pat Sievert's number one, and then Tom Naylor's number two. You know,
Pat Sievert is easily our funniest regional comedian.
Yeah, and if he's ever listening to this, we'd also love to have you on the show, but you probably have better things to do.
God, Pat Sievert's not going to be associated with this filth.
He's going to be like, who's Crispin? Oh,
the Pat Sievert brand is like we're talking Disney. Okay, we're talking Pepsi Cola. We're talking Frito-Lay. We're talking Marvel. We're talking America's most cherished brands.
And the Chris Benoit Weekly is like Spike TV, Oxygen, TLC. You know, that's about it.
We're Destination America, I think.
Yeah, we are. We go wherever Impact Wrestling goes.
We're wedged in between old episodes of Impact and some show where they hunt Bigfoot. Like that's where this is broadcasted.
That's the one. That's the one.
Folks, I sent a picture of Sasha Banks to you.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that.
This is on Instagram. This is going to be the image for the YouTube upload this week. So if you want to mute this and start jerking off,
I've been doing this whole time.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and you can unmute, and we'll still be talking. You know,
we're jerking off right around with you, man. We're all in this together.
You're not gonna miss much. Yeah, she's in like this. I don't know. I'm looking at it, and I can't. It's really hard to form words, honestly.
Yeah, I think she's incredibly attractive, but man, that hairline. It's rough.
I want to fuck her so badly. And I feel like it's almost like discriminatory that she won't fuck me.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I'm a fuckable guy. I think I'm a nice guy, and I do everything I do for for regional stand-up comedy.
Yes, but are you an accomplished WWE champion? That's kind of what the kind of guy I think she's looking for. I think she's looking for not the Dave Crumbly type, but like the Miz type. You know, the abs and the electrifying personality.
I do have gout.
That's true. That the Miz probably does not have gout. I think you have him there.
So if I eat like a jar of spear pickles, my foot feels electrifying. Gout has become... All right, folks, I have gout. That's a Dave trademark. I do a bit about it on stage. I have a joke that's gotten critical and commercial acclaim. But
we should just do insider references to our own jokes, just like, all right, yeah, I got my gout joke. You've all heard the gout joke. We don't need it.
Everyone knows the gout. They know the gout chunk. These are gout guys. And the Chris Benoit.
Why isn't that the name of our podcast?
The gout guys. Well, you haven't gotten gout yet. You're not even of drinking age.
Yes, but I think that's an hilarious title. How about once I turn 21, I'll turn 21 in 2 months, and I'll drink aggressively until I get gout by the end of the year.
Yeah, a 30 rack of Pabst Blue. Dr. Dave prescribes you a 30 rack of Pabst Blue Ribbon every single day until your foot starts rotting. But gout has become my trademark, and people will come up, like other comics will come up to me talking about their foot pain, and Louis Michael just like took his shoe off and put it up to you. Was like, so it hurts here. Is this like where gout is? And I was like, yeah, it's that knobby bit near the big toe on the foot. Yeah, that's my man. That's the gout zone.
Louis Michael's not gonna get gout. You look at him and you're like, that's not a guy who can get gout.
Yeah, diet. It's all about diet. You eat a lot of pizza, yeah. Drink a lot of beer, hell yeah.
But you guys are like polar opposites, so I don't think that's...
Okay, first off, I am jacked, I am shredded, and Louis Michael, I don't know. He's not shredded.
Yeah, but in comparison to you, Mr. Crumbly.
In comparison to me, he's got big arms. If he took his shirt off, he'd have a little paunch.
Folks, for those of you who could not see Dave right now, he's fat. I don't know what he's trying to tell you.
I'm sweating. I'm fucking furious right now, dude.
Folks,
you saw Jacob right now. He looks like a coat rack. That's pretty good.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah.
Anyway,
folks,
I'm masturbating to Sasha Banks right now. This is a great picture.
Folks, welcome to the Chris Benoit Weekly Podcast.
It's a good show.
I am one half of your hosting tag team champions, Jacob Barr, and our other host, the electrifying, the fat Dave Crumbly. Give it up for him.
My name's Dave Crumbly. First off, you piece of shit, I've lost 15 pounds since the last time you've seen me.
Yeah, it's hard to see that over a blank computer screen.
I'm 271 pounds right now. So I feel like that deserves, a little bit of credit, a little bit of acclaim.
I'm proud of you.
A little bit of love from the peanut gallery.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of you, Dave. In a couple of years, you're not even going to be able to do 90% of your material.
Some girl came up to me after a show, and she told me that I wasn't fat enough to do fat jokes, and I started panicking. Like, I should have tried to fuck her, right? That's clearly I'm looking to fuck.
Yes.
But I was just, oh no, my bits. Oh no.
Oh no. Just your sanity's breaking down. Like, oh no, what am I going to do if
that's like 6 minutes.
Being fat is part of who I am. What am I going to do without my bits?
What the hell? Yeah, by the time I realized, that pretty girl probably wanted to have sex with me, she was gone, the show was over, and I'm the only one left in the bar.
You only love comedy, not the host, Dave. But I kind of get what you mean, because, like, for those of you who don't know or probably don't give a shit, I am physically disabled. My hands don't look too good. But, like, if I woke up with normal hands, it'd be like, well, that's part of my identity on stage. Like, that's who I've built myself around. And if I just have to start over, I'm not as interesting.
Then the whole act is literally, I'm a virgin.
Yeah, and then that's just pathetic. You know, it's not funny. You're like, all right, you're a virgin. Who cares? You're not disabled, so
that's the hook.
What's your sales pitch here, man? Well, you're not getting on Comedy Central just being a virgin. They don't allow virgins on Comedy Central unless you're fucking disabled.
Comedy Central is only for poon hounds, dude. That's what I'm getting on. I love to fuck.
I'm a poon hound, but I'm an unsuccessful poon hound.
You can't find you just can't get into the doghouse.
Yeah, I'm like a pickup artist who hasn't picked up any women. You know?
You've got the hat, you've got the beard. You're always practicing magic.
Yeah, actually, I used to do magic. God damn it! Did you come to me? Were you at the show with the magician? Do you remember?
No.
Okay, so we went to. He was a nice guy. We went to CBW, and there was like a comic / magician, and he did his jokes and his magic. But I think part of the joke was him doing the magic tricks wrong. So I go up after him, and then I just do a couple actual magic tricks, which I will never get to do ever again. But I was like, oh shit, I did magic in 8th grade, and I was super, super lame. I can still do these card tricks, and they looked impressive because there was a disabled man doing them.
Magic is so cool. I think magic is cool.
I talked to him after. I was like,
say magic is, gay for homosexuals. I disagree. I think you can be a poon hound and be way into magic.
Yeah, I think girls like magicians if the magician is hot. Like if the magic school, that's one thing, but if he's hot and can do magic, that's a mysterious man right there. That's a
magician outfit. I think makes you look so dorky. You have to be super hot to counteract like that weird vest.
Yeah. But like, yeah, if you're handsome and you do magic, that's kind of an interesting thing to talk about. Like if Elliot Rodger did magic tricks, that's all he was missing. He would have gotten laid instantly.
Father, you treat me so unfairly.
Folks, he killed people. This isn't anything to laugh about.
Welcome to the Elliot Rodger Weekly Podcast.
They have that. Well, I mean, they don't have a. There are YouTube channels that literally just talk about Elliot Rodger. It's pretty funny.
A lot of people like unironically think Elliot Rodger is a cool guy.
Yeah, and I love those. I think that is hilarious.
They think he's good.
Well, because like the incel thing is like big now. Like he kind of started that whole thing. Like after Elliot Rodger did all that shit, nerdy virgins were like, "Oh, I can blame women for this. This is cool. Let's do that. Let's form an entire community online, and we'll totally get laid from that." It was great. And like I watched a video about him, and there were a fair amount of comments that were like, "Yeah, you shouldn't make fun of him. He was a great man, a real George Washington of the incel community." We had a list of topics to talk about, and we ended up talking about Elliot Rodger. That's what I always.
This has been way better than last week's, though. Yeah, because we recorded last week's last week, and it wasn't very
good. I don't know why you think it was bad. I think it's. I will agree that this one's better, but why was the last episode bad? Let's do some directors.
I didn't feel funny. I feel like if you listen to this, if you sit through this, the 45 minutes of this, and I don't know who would do that, but if somebody can see it, if somebody theoretically did, I want them to get 1 or 2 big laughs out of it. I feel like we've delivered a couple so far. Last week, I believe, there was 0 of a big laugh last.
I disagree, but then again, I do agree this one is better.
I respect your opinion.
But
let's talk about Kurt Hawkins lost his 200th match.
I don't know if it's actually 200, but it's pretty fucking close.
Who did he lose to? Who's his most recent loss?
A jobber named James Harden, some local enhancement talent.
James
like one
Harden
of those guys
plays for the Houston Rockets.
I know, but I'm pretty sure.
Was it that guy?
Hold on. Maybe his name wasn't James Harden. Hold on.
Yeah, he lost this guy, Magic Johnson.
It was James Harden.
Huh. One of those guys needs to change their name.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to be basketball. I don't know, but I think that's lovely. I love Kurt Hawkins. I think there was a time where he actually won matches like 6 years ago, and now his whole character is just based around losing.
He's a former tag team champion.
Yeah, I think he's a former 2-time tag team champion.
The Edgeheads.
Oh yeah, with Zack Ryder.
Zack Ryder, yeah.
Remember when Zack Ryder was cool? I watched his shitty YouTube show back in the day. The Z True Long Island Story. I will tell you something even more embarrassing. My Facebook cover picture in 2010 or 11 was the logo for his YouTube show. That's what kind of person I was.
Displaying my allegiance to Long Island Ice Z. You know, the Z-Man.
I think his dad died recently.
That's bad.
R.I.P. Papa Z.
Doesn't he, review toys on YouTube or something now?
I don't know. I can't... His YouTube show was just, him subtly mocking the WWE. He'd have a toy, and he'd bury it in dirt, to be like, oh, this is WWE burying Zack Ryder. I don't... When you say it, it doesn't sound entertaining, but it was a little entertaining, because he had a big personality. This was when the Jersey Shore was popular.
He was extremely over for a point. And even though I personally never understood the Zack Ryder thing, he was undeniably... The people in the buildings really loved him.
Yeah, he got himself over 100% from non-TV. His stupid YouTube show got people to chant his name so loud in the arenas that they just put him on the show. It's pretty cool.
They drowned out The Rock. The Rock was out there. They were chanting for Zack fucking Ryder to the point where he had to acknowledge it. Be like, yeah, that guy, I like that guy. He's neat. He's cool.
I'm surprised he wasn't. Who the fuck is Zack Ryder? I'm The Rock. Why aren't you listening to me?
Bernie.
Okay, so on the topic of WWE, let's talk about WCW. Dave, you sent me this video of the WCW in the year 2000. Now, the last episode we talked about Vince Russo, I think, and my background in WCW is very limited. Last week, which probably won't even get uploaded, but we were talking about Jeff Jarrett and shit. And I didn't realize that in the year 2000, the WCW World Heavyweight title changed hands 25 times.
Hell yeah, it did. The year 2000 in WCW, it was a very tumultuous era. Vince Russo had been brought in the fall of 1999 due to collapsing TV ratings and general interest in the product. So Eric Bischoff was sent home. Vince Russo was brought in. He was the guy. He was quickly realized to be completely insane. So in January, they tried to go, hey Vince, we love you and everything, but maybe we can have you be part of a creative team where we bring in a bunch of guys, everybody puts forth their ideas, and we come to a consensus. Bro, that's not in my contract. I'm going home. So Vince Russo goes home, and for the next 3 months, the show is basically it's just a lame duck thing. There's not a lot of thought put into it. It's put together by kind of a hodgepodge crew, and everybody's very demoralized. They lose Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, and Perry Saturn in one
Chris Benoit weekly trademark.
Yeah. Which is basically the entire backbone of the WCW mid-card leaves in one fell swoop. The shows get real bad. They're in a real period of desperation. So they bring back the Dream Team, a combination of Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo, to try to breathe new life into the show. And just their mission statement for this was, we are going to have crazy shit happen on the television show constantly. And they would change the belt.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't it work? Like, to some degree, didn't that help ratings?
It worked in the sense that, like, if we started doing open mic naked, right, that would get a lot of interest in the beginning. These crazy guys, they're doing open mic naked. But then eventually, the government would show up and shut the show down. So, for a few weeks, it was very interesting because they're out there, they're actively, like, they're calling the show fake in the body of the show. There was a storyline where Buff Bagwell didn't want to do jobs, and he would openly just talk about, like, swerving the boss by not laying down, and he's winning for real. And every storyline became about, this is fake. This is a reality TV representation of a pro wrestling show. Mm-hmm. So, for a few weeks, yeah, that was very interesting, but then very quickly, you change the belt every week and you admit that the show is fake in the body of the show, you hollow out everything that people still cared about and still had emotional investment in. And a year later, less than a year later, the company was out of business. But yeah, from April 2000 to June of 2000, they changed the belt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times. That's wild.
I think in that whole year
12 times, because it changed again twice in one night. So.
Oh man, okay, so like David Arquette won the title from Jeff Jarrett won it like 8 times. Booker T won it like 5 times. Which is funny because
title history from April 10th until May 29th, 2000. Vacated.
I'm going to have to watch some of this stuff because the video is just this bizarre compilation of this person wins the title this week. Next week it was dropped and then picked up by this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy.
WCW, those Nitros, and this goes for anybody that didn't live through that era. The year 2000 in WCW, I was a WCW fan. I lived through the highs and I lived through the lows. Me and my dad were huge WCW fans. Dayton was a WCW territory. Cincinnati was a WWF town. WCW was a Dayton town. I don't know why that shook out that way exactly. It just kind of shook out that way. But the year 2000, from April 10th, 2000, which is when Russo and Bischoff came together and they did the big reboot show where they stripped all of the belts, through like October of that year, watch those Nitros. It's the craziest programming that has ever existed in the history of wrestling cable television. Like, it is fucking wild. Just random heel face turns every week. Sometimes they would forget that they did heel turns, and it would... Because there was just so much going on every single segment. Every match had run-ins and ref bumps, and it was...
Swerves on top of swerves.
Swerves on top of swerves. Just... It was wild. It was the wildest programming. I'm not going to say it's good, but it is definitely interesting.
Yeah, like, I think a lot of wrestling's most entertaining moments are when it's bad. So I would say it's definitely worth watching. Because, yeah, it's bad, but it's over now. So looking back on it, I think it's entertaining.
In hindsight, at the time, it was like, oh no, they're going to put WCW out of business. Like, kind of following it week to week was, oh my god, they have it's kind of like America right now, actually. Where there is no faith in the leadership. It is, oh god, literally the craziest people in the country are the ones in control of the country. That was
I think that's a really
WCW at
good
the time.
comparison. I think that's really accurate, actually.
Where you're just on this roller coaster to hell, and you can't do anything about it. And it's very like it was a hurtful thing when WCW went out of business. There's really no allegory for newer fans or any kind of comparison for newer fans, because even at WCW's death, it was still a big cable TV property with millions of fans all over the world.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like if TNA went under now. TNA's at a point where they're getting...
Where no one cares.
Nobody fucking cares. They're getting 300,000 viewers on Pop TV. I was going to go see them in Windsor. They did a TV taping in Windsor. But they recorded it at what looked like a high school gym. So it was sold out. So at first I was thinking, all right, the boys, they sold out. Good on them. But then I looked at the venue, and it's like, this is a high school gym. This building seats 300 people. Of course they sold it out.
That's sad, because I think I don't watch Impact. I watch, like, clips every now and then, which will probably segue into our next topic. But Impact's been doing better. Like, I think they some of their bad business practices, I think they finally got rid of, but it's kind of too little too late, because now when everybody thinks of TNA, they think of the worst parts of TNA. They think of Dixie Carter. They think of that fucking Claire Lynch storyline with AJ, all this stuff. But recently, Impact's been doing some cool things. For example, Dave and I have been talking about this Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan feud, which got kickstarted by a botch.
Yeah, Sami Callihan did literally... It was one of the dumbest stunts I've ever seen in a wrestling ring.
Oh yeah, Jim Cornette was fucking shitting his britches.
I was shitting my britches when I saw this damn thing. He puts the chair over Eddie Edwards, but he doesn't lay it flat. He puts it like standing over Eddie Edwards. So Eddie has to like hold it up with his hand, and I don't even know if they executed this. I'm sure if you've listened to this, you've seen this on YouTube. If you haven't, go look it up. I don't even know if this went off 100%, what the hell it was supposed to look like or do. But it was so dumb, but it actually created a really emotional basis for a storyline, because Eddie Edwards is he hates this guy and is just literally screaming like, I'm going to murder you. I'm going to kill you.
The tenacity is great, because...
I'm going to murder you. That's not an emotion you hear in wrestling a lot.
Yeah, there's no, I'm going to pin you and beat you for the title. It's, I'm going to kill you because you hit me in the head with a baseball bat.
You hit me in the face with a baseball bat. I'm going to kill you. I'm so pissed at you. So next week on Impact, an event I'm very excited for.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
What they are promoting as they're promoting it as a fight in the woods between Eddie Edwards.
Mean? Who the fuck knows what that means?
I have no idea, but the trailer for it looked hilarious. So I can't wait. And
Sami Callihan, okay, so Sami Callihan, I never cared about him basically at all. When he wrestled in the Indies, he wore this really gross looking like wrestling singlet that made him look like a character out of a Dr. Seuss book. But now he looks pretty scary. And after he hit Eddie Edwards in the face with the bat, people were on Twitter being really mean to Sami Callihan. And Sami would refuse to get out of character. He was dropping videos just going crazy, talking about how he's going to kill Eddie Edwards, and it was really cool, I thought.
I like how he didn't do that, because there's no, don't apologize. Like, you already
this is a great way to
you hit the guy in the face with the bat. The apology is to Eddie Edwards and his wife privately. That's when you apologize. You don't need to apologize and break the fantasy in front of the fans. Like, so that guy, he hit Eddie Edwards in the face with a baseball bat, which makes him an enormous dipshit. But at least he had the sense to, okay, we can make something out of it.
His
and
apology
maybe, even
to
though
Eddie
I broke
Edwards
Eddie Edwards' eye, I can like help him make some money off of this. You know?
Yeah. His apology to Eddie Edwards was giving him this great feud, which has garnered a lot of attention. That clip of him hitting him in the face with the bat has a ton of views. Like it was circulated.
So, yeah,
What a dumbass.
It's a fight in the woods, folks. It looks really interesting. I would say the biggest problem with TNA right now is just with NXT existing, all of those second-tier guys end up in NXT. So just their talent roster, they don't really have a lot of guys who you can look at the TNA roster and be like, oh man, that guy's a star.
Yeah, they had Cody Rhodes, but they lost him. They have Austin Aries back, and that's pretty cool, but like he can't carry the whole company himself.
10 years ago, you could look at that roster and go, okay, they're just misusing guys. 5 years ago, you could look at the roster and go, oh, there's guys there if they would just put them in different spots. Now when I watch the show, I don't get the sense that people are being misused or they're pushing the wrong guys. Or I feel like they're kind of pushing the logical buttons that they have to push. They just don't have a lot of frontline talent.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think as long as they don't hire Del Rio back again, I think they'll be okay. Because I remember they fired Del Rio right after he won the world title. And then you're like, all right, well, then that's all over. But then he comes back and he wins the title again. And then gets fired again.
I probably would have brought him back. Alberto Del Rio is one of those... He's like a seeing eye trick. Because you look at him and it's like, here's this guy. He's... You know, what is he? 6'3", 6'4".
He's a big dude, and he's a good-looking man.
He's jacked. He's super handsome. He can talk. If you put him in a suit at a press conference, you're like, man, like that guy can be the representative for our country.
Yeah, and he's a pretty decent wrestler, too.
He speaks fluent English, fluent Spanish. Like, yeah, it's like this guy, he ticks every box, but the product doesn't really come together.
Because he's a mess. In the way that
you think it will, because, yeah, he's just a degenerate drug addict, and he can't put it together.
That's Impact for you, I guess.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good mascot for Impact. A degenerate, a very talented degenerate drug addict who can't put it together.
This is kind of a side note, but I
bring him back.
Bring him back. Give him the title. Have him squash everybody in the company, and just make him your guy.
I feel like every 3 months, Alberto Del Rio should be fired by TNA and then brought back 3 months later.
Because it does get headlines, because people are like, oh shit, he got fired again.
Yeah, and then you're excited to see him. Fuck, Alberto.
This is a random segue, but I can't believe we haven't talked about it. Did you see the NXT clip where Ricochet did that flip over the ropes?
I did. That was outstanding.
I am so excited for this match with Velveteen Dream now, just because of that. Velveteen comes out, and he's wearing this awesome outfit, and he's like, Ricochet, you're a very beautiful man, which I thought was really funny. And he's like, anything you can do, the Dream can do better. And then Ricochet just does this Spider-Man flip over the top rope, lands perfectly. And he's like, well, show me then. And it was...
Ricochet needs to be on the main roster. Pay-per-view main event guy immediately. He is so incredible.
His athleticism... Okay, so, like, people hate the flippy shit wrestling, but he's so athletic. People don't care. Like, even people that hate the flippy shit wrestling are like, oh, wow.
He's not flippy shit wrestling, though. He's a superhero. He looks like a UFC fighter. Flippy shit wrestling, to me, is these guys that are 110 pounds. They're just little white guys, like, doing things that look like they have absolutely no impact. Ricochet, the way he flies around, the velocity that he flies around with, he looks like a superhero. He looks like Rey Mysterio. Like, to me, like, I have no issues with Ricochet. This guy is
and if he doesn't get
main
injured,
event talent.
If he doesn't get injured, he's main event talent for sure.
Yeah, he's perpetual. I mean, he's the guy.
But I did cringe a little bit when he did that flip because he just lands right on his legs. That can't have felt that great. I know he's a superhero, but those knees.
That's how you got to get these guys on TV. Like, why are you having these guys beat each other up like this for matches that air on the internet?
Yeah, true. He should have done that spot at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, get all of the mileage out of these guys that you can. Like, don't, the years of abuse that Sasha Banks put on her body, having those classic matches in NXT, and then she gets called up to the main roster and she's hurt all the time now.
Yeah, but she's great, so she's beautiful. It'll all be all right for her.
Oh, God. This will be, that will be the image that we put up for the podcast this week. If you could jerk off to that. That's a service that we provide.
Do a couple things. Oh wait, we got to do one last segment. I think we're about 48 minutes. Let's do these Money in the Bank predictions. I think it's a pretty good card.
Money in the Bank this week or next week?
It's next week.
What date is it?
The 12th.
Is it the 17th?
I think it's. Let me see.
I'm on the Wikipedia. It's a Tuesday.
Oh, it's on the 17th.
Okay, then it'd probably make more sense to do it next week, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. You had a story you wanted to tell, right?
I do.
About being scammed by a certain internet somebody?
Yeah, okay, so, Dave, have you ever heard of Shoe Nice?
I have heard of Shoe Nice.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Shoe Nice was this guy on YouTube who was famous in, 2011. He was just this guy that you could pay. Well, I mean, often nobody would pay him, but he would just eat outrageous things for money, like deodorant and toothpaste and such. And it got a lot of views. He would chug booze. It was, to a 16-year-old like me, he was Jesus Christ. But he was famous. He wasn't. You can only watch a guy eat toothpaste so many times before you're like, I think he's just kind of enjoying it. So he kind of fell out of relevancy. He was homeless for a while. And he made a resurgence on Twitter. And he got a bunch of followers on Twitter because he would follow every single person back on Twitter. And if two people follow each other on Twitter, they can add each other to group chats or DM each other. So my friends and I thought it would be funny to add Shoe Nice to our group chat. We didn't think he'd say anything because we didn't think we were the only people doing this. But we add him and he's in the chat for a month. And then he just starts talking to us. This 45-year-old man is just casually talking to us. He's he wished my friend a happy birthday, and it was funny at first, but then it divulged to him asking for money. So we were stupid, and we were like, all right, Shoe Nice, we'll send you some money. And he's like, all right, you send me this money, and I'll upload a video of me doing a challenge. And we were like, oh, that's great. How about we send you $25 and you drink a jar of pickle juice? So we send him the money, and he uploads a video of him not chugging a bottle of pickle juice, but a giant bottle of vodka. But we do get the shout-out. And then right after he uploads the video, he deletes it. And then he deletes the video, and then we were like, Shoe Nice, why'd you delete the video? We sent you that money. We deserve this shout-out. And he's like, oh, you blah, blah, blah. It'll be uploaded again later, blah, blah, blah. And then he doesn't say anything for a while. And then he starts hitting on my friend, who's 16, which was really creepy. And then when we say something, he blocks us all on Twitter. And that was the end of it.
Shoe Nice fucks.
He's a psychopath. He's apparently scammed, dozens of people online. And we were stupid enough to buy into it. So, guys, if a guy who's famous on the internet for chugging alcohol asks you for money, don't give him money.
That's solid advice. All right, Jacob. This was way better than last week's.
Yeah, this was a really good episode.
Yeah, this was all right. Do you have anything you want to promote before we sign off here?
Let's see. You will see nothing. I'm still in my basement.
Still in the basement. June 21st, if you're in the Toledo, Detroit, Ohio, Michigan,
Wisconsin,
Indiana, Alaska,
Alabama
region,
country.
Wakanda
isn't real, Dave.
Wakanda isn't real.
I don't know why all these people are so obsessed with this movie. Because Wakanda isn't real.
They think these black people, their brains don't work.
Ben Shapiro, if you want to come watch Dave, you can come watch him at Fleetwood Tap Room.
Let me tell you, I'm going to cut a promo around Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, you motherfuckers, show up. You show up June 21st to Fleetwoods, the rooftops of Fleetwoods, you midget piece of shit. Downtown
and bring your
Toledo,
hot sister.
At 8 p.m., you bring your hot sister with the basketball titties, and I will throw you off that roof. It's my promise.
That's great.
June 21st, come out, guys. Fleetwoods, downtown Toledo. July 2nd, I'm running shows in Toledo at the Beer Stube. Nobody lives in Toledo. Later, guys.